What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to cover a champion that I have done a complete 180 on in terms of how much I like them, how useful I find them, and that is Jack-O-Lantern. So this video is just going to cover how incredibly simple and effective Jack-O-Lantern is. He honestly has transcended all my expectations. When I initially started testing this guy, I thought he was going to be a cookie cutter, hyper specific champion counter for one champion, which is Onslaught. But I have now learned over the course of having him as a rank 3 7-star on both my main account and my free-to-play account that this guy is far from a cookie cutter generic counter. Far from it. Yes, obviously he is amazing for Onslaught. That is his geared matchup. That is the matchup that he's made for. But you can use him basically in any mutant situation, and he's going to be just fine. So there's Onslaught basically dead with 100% health finish. I even messed up and let him parry me, and that was still 38 seconds. Let's amp it up a little bit. Let's go fight the next Onslaught. Jack obviously is geared towards Onslaught. He's made to be an Onslaught counter. And if you have your Jack-O-Lantern awaken, he counters Onslaught even further because he can parry non-contact attacks, and he gains a regeneration passive whenever he's suffering from an energy damage over time effect. So Neuroshock is an energy damage over time effect. So as long as you don't have, 18 Neuroshocks on you, you're going to be basically counteracting the Neuroshock damage that you would take from Onslaught and healing from your SIG ability. So, for a longer matchup, this is like an Alliance War level health pool. We're going to go for a special 1 into a special 2, and that should be perfectly fine. We're going to try and get an intercept here. Perfect. Going to end on a light attack, get the Incinerate vulnerability from the Sentinel Relic, heavy into special 2, and one more combo after this, and Onslaught should be a goner. Okay, we're going to bait this special 2 just for safety. You know what? We're not. We're going for it. Yeah, Jack's got the damage for it. No problem. So, that was a 550,000 health Onslaught in just over a minute. 94% health remaining. Let's amp it up even further. Let's go fight the 1.1 million health Onslaught. This is just about the level of like an EOP health pool. It is a little lower, so it's not exactly the EOP health pool level, but it is basically there. So I am going to be trying to avoid parrying for at least a little while until I can get maybe a special 1 and then a first special 2 off, and then I'll go for a parry. But it's not a bad idea to avoid the parry at the beginning because you can get some willpower. But just like I did there, I parried. It doesn't matter. You're going to heal regardless because of the Neuroshock from the SIG ability. So you parry, you don't parry, doesn't really matter. Does not really matter. Onslaught just has a pretty annoying AI profile. Nothing you can do about that. But Jack is amazing, and I promise I'm going to show him in more matchups, not just Onslaught. Obviously, Onslaught is the best matchup for him, or one of the best matchups for him. But he does work for basically every mutant. I don't believe he works for every single mutant, but most of them, if not all of them. I don't believe he works for Iceman, but outside of just a handful of mutant matchups, he can do basically anything in the mutant class. As you can see, this 1.1 million health Onslaught is already down to 50%. We're landing those intercepts to pause the Inflame the passive so I don't have to spam my special 1 and continuously gain them. We are immune to reverse controls, so I don't have to worry about dexing the special 2 inverted. I'm going to go for another special 2 here. If I can land a stand-up, beautiful. I might even just go for a special 1 here, or a heavy attack, and then go for a special 1 to finish it off. But as you can see, we are basically topped up. For a 1.1 million health Onslaught, to have 87% health remaining while I'm parrying, so I'm removing the willpower, that's crazy. Less than 2 minutes for that fight, 89 hits absolutely wild. Genuinely, genuinely wild. He is great for other matchups, though. He doesn't just work for Onslaught. Another great matchup that I didn't really consider him for is Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister is pretty annoying defender, especially in Awakened Mr. Sinister. That can be quite an annoying champion to fight on defense. So Jack-O-Lantern is decent for Mr. Sinister. Obviously, he has the critical hit replacement, so you don't have to worry about Mr. Sinister healing back all of your critical hits. But additionally, all of his damaging debuffs, they expire very fast. So even if Mr. Sinister throws a special one, there's a decent chance that the damaging debuffs are already gone. So now I'm going to build up to a special 2 here. I might even just bait a special 1 for the sake of conserving my own power. Bait a parry here into heavy attack. Get the stand-up intercept. Go for a little relic. And by the time I finish this combo, Mr. Sinister is toast. 42 seconds for that Mr. Sinister. Pretty decent stuff. He doesn't just work for Sinister. He works elsewhere as well. He's actually okay for Domino. Not the best, not the worst. He is okay. His little caveat is he needs to build up a couple of inflamed passives in order to bypass her ability accuracy reduction. But once he does that, he actually is okay for Domino. Not the best, not the worst, but he can work. So as you can see, he's regenning from the critical failure damage, which is energy damage. So that is a pro of having Jack-O-Lantern Awaken. And then once you have enough inflamed passives, you can just bypass the critical failure damage, and it doesn't come back. I don't know what the threshold is for that number, but you can just bypass it at a certain point. But it might not even matter, because Domino might just be dead. So, 86% health for a 33-second Domino fight, not bad at all. I did get a little unlucky there with the critical failure, but I still maintained a decent amount of health. Like I said, he's not the best for Domino, but he absolutely, absolutely works. Another great matchup for Mr. Jack-O-Lantern over here is... Where is he? Where is he? Or where is she, should I say? Kitty Pryde. Jack-O-Lantern completely shuts Kitty Pryde down. So I know Kitty's not a super meta-relevant defender, but Jack-O-Lantern has this ability where ending on a 4th light attack inflicts a cowardice. And if you don't know anything about Kitty Pryde, a cowardice will completely remove all of her prowess, right? So I'm going to parry Kitty Pryde a couple of times here to let her build up some prowess. You know, we'll parry her maybe just 2 times, right? So now she has 2 prowess. I go for a full combo with Jack-O-Lantern here, and cowardice removes them. And now she just can't gain prowess at all. I'm stunning her. If I were to be landing critical hits, she would be gaining prowess. But yeah, Kitty Pryde can just no longer gain prowess. So Jack-O-Lantern is a hard counter to Kitty Pryde on defense. And then you throw your special 2, and if you land a stand-up intercept, Kitty Pryde's dead. I could have sped that fight up exponentially, but it was still 30 seconds for a rank 3 7-star Kitty Pryde, while completely shutting down her defensive threat. I would actually love to see how Jack-O-Lantern does against Necropolis Kitty Pryde. That is maybe a future video, maybe. Well, I'll think about it. I'll think about going in there for that fight, because I think he could potentially get a solo there, because he just hard counters Kitty Pryde to such a monumental degree. So I was going to show off one more thing with Jack-O-Lantern. Yeah, so one more thing with Jack-O-Lantern that I wanted to show off is his ability to turn off instant damaging effects on block. One more amazing thing about Jack-O-Lantern, as if there weren't already amazing qualities about him based on his kit alone, right? Adding just one more thing, one more amazing quality, is when Jack-O-Lantern has an inflamed passive, he reduces the opponent's damaging effect ability accuracy by 100% during special attacks. So what this means is when you're using Jack-O-Lantern against someone like Bullseye, who inflicts these damaging effects on his special attacks, all you need to do is block the special, and Bullseye cannot trigger any of his bleeds. With one inflamed passive, you turn off Bullseye's ability to inflict those instant bleeds into your block. So now, it's just a game of making sure Bullseye throws his special 1, and not dexing the special attacks, right? So Jack's going to take a little bit of chip damage here, but once you get to that special 2, you're going to be just fine. Go for a heavy attack into the special 2. Now, yes, Bullseye can purify some of the debuffs, but don't worry about that. Jack-o'-lantern's going to be pretty healthy by the end of this fight. Again, 90% health against Bullseye. Jack-o'-lantern's not necessarily meant to fight Bullseye. It's just a matchup that he works for, and he can definitely take, you know? Now, one thing to note there, perfect example of that, is the damage mitigation does not work with critical hits, or does not work with hits into block. So hits into block and dexing hits does not work for preventing the damage. But if you were to just block Bullseye Special 1, you could get out of this matchup with like 85% health or more if you just go for that single Special 2. Now, I pushed the limit a little bit. I pushed him to his Special 2. Not the best idea, but Jack can handle this fight in short-ish form content, and if you're boosted, maybe medium form content as well, because 1 Inflame passive turns off that entire threat of the Special 1 inflicting those instant bleeds. Crazy utility, super powerful, unbelievably underrated. I like rarely see people talk about that. It's unbelievably powerful. So overall, I just wanted to emphasize how much of a 180 I've done on this character. I really do value Jack-o'-lantern. I think going forward, he's going to just find more and more value as a general tech attacker who just fits in a lot of different situations, and you can use him basically anywhere. He's not like the best Everest character, but as you just saw, he took out a 1.1 million health Onslaught in less than 2 minutes, and Onslaught is his target matchup, and it's a hard matchup. So imagine an easier mutant matchup with a little more health. Jack's going to do just fine. So if you guys like this video, I really hope that you did. Please consider hitting that subscribe button and also hitting like. Both of those things are incredibly helpful for the channel, and I would appreciate it if you would do so. And again, thank you all very much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Peace.